So what is strategy implementation? It is the activities within a workplace or organization designed to manage the activities associated with the delivery of a strategic plan, or the sum of the total activities, choices required for the execution of a strategic plan. In short po, ito po yung mga executions po ng ating plans and strategies. Next po. So, strategy implementation requires the following activities to be undertaken. So, una po is strategy articulation. Strategy articulation is building consensus within the team responsible deliver of the strategy about the outcomes to be achieved. So, dito po sa strategy articulation, ito po yung napagkasunduan po. For example po, yung sa project po namin. Before po siya ma-implement, madami po siyang pinagdaanang review. So, dun po, para makita po yung, kung ano po talaga yung goals po ng isang project. Since DOSTP card po ang nagapan po, sila po yung pinakang nag-approve po ng project. Like din po sa research, pag each department po, pag nagpa-approve po ng mga proposal. So, may mga nagre-review po dyan. So, kung ano po yung napagkasunduan po nila na i-approve, then yun po yung ma-implement po. Strategy validation. Engaging with stakeholders and others to confirm strategic outcomes being pursued are acceptable. So, may dalawa pong validation, internal and external validation. Yung sa internal validation naman po, is within the organization po, yung the strategy is needed within the organization with particularly from members po. Then the external validation naman po ay, so, example ko po ulit yung project. So, after po nung sa internal validation, then kung anong po yung mapag-usapan, then ipapa-upload po yun sa yung stakeholders po. Katulad po na sa amin, ang stakeholders po namin ay yung DOST since sila po yung nagapan po sa amin. So, dun po. Strategy communication. So, convert strategic objectives into clear short-term operating objectives that can be assigned to groups for delivery. So, example po dito. For example po, may malawakan pong activity. Di ba po, nagkakaroon ng mga committee. So, nagpapatawag po tayo ng meeting para ma-assign po kung ano man po yung mga activities na dapat po nilang magawa. Then, strategy monitoring. Monitoring the progress of the organization in delivering strategic objectives. So, ito po talaga, mahalaga po talaga yung monitoring. For example po, yung sa implementation po ng project. Para makita po kung talaga pong effective po ba yung ginawa nating strategy or yung in-implement po nating project. May example lang po ulit ako sa strategy monitoring. Yung sa amin po kasing project, so, nagpo-monitor po sa amin is yung DOSTP card. So, ano man po yung mga kulang pa, so, sinasabi po yun. Strategy engagement. So, managerial interventions designed to ensure organization successfully achieves chosen strategic outcome. So, dito po, managerial intervention. Organizations. Management practices and systems. Okay. What is management practices? It is a working methods and innovations that managers use to improve the effectiveness of work systems. Common management practices include empowering staff, training staff, introducing schemes for improving quality, and introducing various forms of new technology. Doon po sa aming management practices, example ko lang po yung pagdating po sa ASF protocol. So, para po maprotektahan po namin yung baboy po, ang ginawa pong strategy is, naggawa po kami ng will bat, foot bat, simula po doon sa gate, then may ikalawa pa po siya para at least masigurado po namin na wala pong papasok na virus po. Tapos po yun, nag-disinfect din po kami. As kami po, may monitoring kami. So, ang ginagawa po namin every Friday, para at least po, may 2 days po kaming self-quarantine para make sure po namin, kunyari po, nag-monitor po kami sa labas ng mga baboy, is, baka po kasi may mga sakit yun doon, then madala po namin. Then, so, may 2 days po kami na quarantine. So, yun po yung aming nagiging sistema na po, yung pinapractice po namin hanggang ngayon. Next po, sir. So, 2 types of best practices. So, internal best practices and external best practices. So, internal practices, ito po yung originated by the internal knowledge management efforts or yung practices po within the organization. Yung katulad nga po nung sinabi namin, yung practice, kung dati po is kung dati po is nakakalibot po sa farm yung mga bisita, ngayon po, hindi na po, dahil nga po, nung nag-ano po yung balita na dun po sa ASF, mahigpit na po kami para po sa protection po ng aming baboy. So, external best practices naman po. So, external best practices are applied to the company by having the skilled, educated, and experienced staff through external training. So, dito po yung sa external best practices. Kapag nagpadala po tayo ng, kunyari po, nagpa-training po tayo, yung mga staff po natin, yung na-acquire po nila is sinishare po dun sa Tapos kung maganda po siya sa organization, ina-acquire po natin yun. So, there are main areas or 5 distinct areas where the best practices can be applied. Una po is communication. So, management is all about communicating to the staff and the clients. So, effective communication is a must when it comes to successful management. So, napaka-importante po talaga ng communication para at least po malaman po kung ano man po yung problem. At least, magkakaroon po tayo ng feedback para mapag-usapan po kung ano man po yung dapat i-apply na strategy doon sa problems po na na-encounter. So, leading by example. So, respect is something you should earn in a corporate environment. Leading by example is the best way of doing this. Define and adhere to leadership by example, best practices, and also make sure your subordinates do the same. So, share ko lang po yung based on my experience po. Doon po yun sa protocol po sa ASF, yun dito po sa amin. So, kami po yung unang gumagawa po para at least po nakikita po nung iba na kami pa lang po mga employee is sinusunod po namin. 3. Setting and demanding realistic goals. So, kapag magsiset po tayo ng ating goals, yung kaya po nating may achieve. Realistic po, yung open management style. So, management style is open and transparent. Others respect you more. In addition, information directly flows from the problem areas to you. So, kunyari po, ikaw po ang isang manager ng isang organization. So, dapat open din po ako sa mga suggestions po nila. strategic planning. So, ito daw po yung most important best practice area when it comes to long-term benefits for the company. So, experienced people in management. So, strategic planning. Di ba po, parang sa MSC po, nagkakaroon po sila ng strategic planning para po sa yung kung anong po, yung goals po ng isang institution is ma-meet po. The tools. Ayan. Ito po yung mga tools. Following are some areas where you can use such tools. So, benchmarking. Kagaya po nung kanina, yung sa external best practices ko, pwede po natin ito yun nga po yung sa, kumukuha po tayo ng mga information or nagbe-benchmark po tayo para ma-compare natin kung ano man po yung kulang ng isang organization. Sa MSC po, nung andun pa po ako dati sa research department, yung mga during accreditation po, so, nagbe-benchmark po sila kung ano man po yung kulang ng isang school para makakomply po. Forecasting. Forecasting, especially financial forecasting, is a key function for a business organization. There are many tools such as spreadsheets, effort estimates for accurate forecasting. Financial forecasting. Siguro po dito sa forecasting po ng financials, yung based po sa my experience ko, kasi po kami po yung na-uutusan na yung kaya po mag-disseminate po ng memo regarding po sa notice of meeting. So yung mga head po, yung pinapag-usapan po nila yung about po financial, kung na-utilize na po ba yung budget, ganito po, kung performance monitoring. Matrix is one of the best practices in performance monitoring. In addition, you can define certain key performance indicators for measuring and assessing the performance of department, functions, and people. Key performance indicators. Example ko po dito yung sa IPCR nga po ng MSC. Since kami naman po, nung JO po kasi ako po sa buwak, parang hindi po kami required na yung mga regular and faculty lang po. Doon po namin measure kung namimit po ba yung target nila. Sa research naman po, yung monitoring po ba ng project, so nagkakaroon po ng quarterly meeting and submission of report. Quarterly din po yun. So, yun po yung kung paano po ma-measure. Strategic control and corporate governance. Yan. Next process. Strategic control is the process of monitoring and correcting a firm's strategy and performance. Okay, next po. Dito po sa strategic control, may traditional approach po tayo. So ito po sa diagram, ito po yung pinakang process. So strategies are formulated by the upper management set goals. So then strategies are implemented. Then strategic control, yung na-measure na po ba kung yung na-formulate na strategies is well implemented po. Next po, sir. Hello po. So, second is contemporary approach to strategic control. Excuse me po. So, dito naman po sa contemporary approach, adapting to and anticipating both internal and external environment. Change is an integral part of strategic control. may dalawa po tayong informational and behavioral control. Dito po sa informational control, so it is primarily concerned with whether or not the organization's doing right. Kung tama po ba ang ginagawa ng isang organization. Tapos dito naman po sa behavioral control, a method of organizational control in which a firm influences the action of employees through culture, rewards, and boundaries. Parang involved na po dito yung mga employees kung tama po ba yung ginagawa nila. Next po. Yun, ito po yun, yung strategic controls. So, dito po sa behavioral control, there are 3 key controls levers. So, sa culture po, consider po dito yung beliefs ng employee ng isang tao. Then, sa reward naman po, para gumawa po ng, kumbaga po, gawin po ng tama ng isang employee yung activities, binibigyan po natin sila ng reward. So, ang best example ko po dito is yung sa research nga po, para po sila mag-present, ma-encourage po mag-present is, so, nag-propose po ang research department ng incentive. So, yun naman po ay ini-implement na alam po ng central. Then yung boundaries. Culture sets implicit boundaries and written standard of acceptable behavior. So, pangatlo po is yung double loop learning. Organizations, assumptions, premises, goals, strategies are continuously monitored, tested, and reviewed. So dapat po, sa pag-monitor po sa implementation po ng ating, so, hindi po tayo tumitigil na i-monitor po kasi minsan meron po tayong na-miss na yung hindi pa po natin nagagawa. So, kailangan po natin ng double review po. Corporate governance. There is the relationship among various participants in determining the direction and performance of corporations. So the primary participants po dito are the shareholders, the management, and the board of directors. Yung board of directors, dito po sa atin is yung mga board of trustees, sila po yung nag-a-approve. Corporation. A mechanism created to allow different parties to contribute capital, expertise, and labor for the maximum benefit of the party. Next question. Agency theory. Deal with the relationship between principals or owners of the firms. Ito daw po yung stockholders. Kung sa private, ano po siya, business. Sa agents, who are the people paid by principals to perform a job on their behalf of management. So in agency theory, there are 2 problems. Conflicting goals of principals and agents, along with the difficulty of the principals to monitor the agents. So, different attitudes and preferences towards risk of principals and agents. Next po. The governance mechanism. Governance mechanism is aligning the interests of owners and managers. So, dapat dito sa yung ina-align po yung parehong interest po ng owners and yung managers. Kasi hindi lang naman po yung managers ang nag-decide. Kunyari, ikaw po yung may-ari. So, dapat, kung ano po yung goal ng owner, so, align po siya dun. Para isa lang po yung goals ng isang company. Board of Directors. A group that has a fiduciary duty to ensure that the company is run consistently with the long-term interests of the owners or shareholders of a corporation and the act as an intermediary between the shareholders and management. Governance mechanism. Shareholder activism. Actions by large shareholders, both institutions and individuals, to protect their interests when they feel that managerial actions diverge from shareholder value maximizations. External governance control mechanisms. So, methods that ensure that managerial actions lead to shareholder value maximization and do not harm other shareholder groups that are outside the control of corporate governance. Ito daw po yung dumagan. So, this include the market for corporate control, auditors, governmental regulatory bodies, banks and analysts, media and public activists. Outside the control of corporate governance, sila po yun. Sige sir, next. Ayan. According to Sarbanes-Oxley Act, so auditors are barred from certain types of non-audit work. So they are not allowed to destroy records for 5 years. Lead partners auditing a firm should be changed at least every 5 years. Ito po yung sa according to Sarbanes-Oxley Act. CEOs and CFOs must fully reveal off-balance sheet finances. Vouch for the accuracy of information revealed. Parang ito po isa mga private, industry. Executives most promptly reveal the sale of shares in firms they manage. Are not allowed to sell shares when other employees cannot. Strategic leadership. So, next po. So, ano nga po ba yung strategic leadership? So, a manager's potential to express a strategic vision for the organization or part of the organization and to motivate and persuade others to acquire that vision. So, a potential to influence organizational members and to execute organizational change. So, yung strategic leaders daw po ay merong mga qualities and so next. Yan. Traits and characteristic features, qualities of effective strategic leader. So, loyalty. Wala. Saan yun? Sige lang po. Nanap ko lang. So, loyalty. Powerful and effective leaders demonstrate their loyalty to their vision by their words and actions. So, kailangan yung isang leaders para ma-achieve yung isang goal. So, dapat loyal po siya dun sa kanyang vision para ma-achieve po yung goals. Hindi lamang po sa salita, syempre with actions din po. Keeping them updated. Efficient and effective leaders keep themselves updated about what is happening within their organization. They have various formal and informal source of information in the organization. So, dapat po yung leaders po, dapat updated po sila sa mga nangyayari po sa environment and also within the organization po. Isa po yan sa characteristic ng leaders. Judicious use of power. Strategic leaders makes a very wise use of their power. They must play the power game skillfully and try to develop consent for their ideas rather than forcing ideas upon others. They must push their ideas gradually. So, dapat po yung isang leaders, syempre po, So, hindi lang niya ginagamit yung kanyang pagiging isang leader kasi siya po yung kumbaga po, alam po nila, but dapat po sila yung maging huwarang po sa isang organization para po ma-encourage po nila yung mga employee. Have wider perspective outlook. Strategic leaders just don't have skills in their narrow specialty, but they have a little knowledge about a lot of things. So yung leaders daw po hindi lang po nakadepende kung ano man po yung knowledge nila. Nag-accept din po sila ng opinion ng suggestions or for example sa isang organization o sa kanyang employee. Motivation. Strategic leaders must have a zeal for work that goes beyond money and power, and also they should have an inclination to achieve goals with energy and determination. So, yung leaders po, dapat motivated po siya para yung mga kasama niya po, motivated din po na mag-work po doon po sa organization or institution. Compassion. Strategic leaders must understand the views and feelings of their subordinates and make decisions after considering them. So yung leader daw, so kinu-consider din niya po yung feelings ng kanyang subordinates. So after decision, kumbaga po, pinapag-aralan po muna kung ano yung problem before po baga mag-decide kung ano po yung actions. Self-control. Strategic leaders must have the potential to control distracting, disturbing moods and discern. So, yung leader, so kailangan niya din po ng self-control. Hindi po yung pag mainit po ang ulo, yung decide po baga agad. Kumbaga, hindi po muna kumalma din, anin po yung problem kung ano po yung pinagmulan. Kumbaga po, bira yung ganun po. Na hindi naman po naintindihan yung situation. Social skills. Strategic leaders must be friendly and social. So, yun po. So, kailangan din daw po ng leaders natin na socialize para naman po maging friendly naman po sa ating mga kasama. Or ano po, yung makipagkapwa-tao po. Self-awareness. Strategic leaders must have the potential to understand their own moods and emotions as well as their impact on others. Dali nga po dun sa self-control. Kailangan may self-awareness po ba? May self-awareness po ba? Dun sa mga decisions niya na hindi po pa bigla-bigla. Readiness to delegate and authorize. Effective leaders are proficient at delegation. They are well aware of the fact that delegation will avoid overload of responsibilities on the leaders. They also recognize the fact that authorizing the subordinates to make decisions will motivate them a lot. So, ang leader, hindi lang po dapat lahat sa kanya. So, dapat meron din po siyang subordinates para if ever po na wala siya, may representative po. For example po, kunyari po dun sa pagpaperma po, hindi lang po siya yung authorized para at least po, hindi po kumbaga ay nadidelay po yung process po ng documents. Articulacy. Strong leaders are articulate enough to communicate the vision of where the organization should head to the organizational members in terms that boost those members. Articulacy. So, another traits po ng isang strategic leaders. So, yung vision po, dapat para maintindihan po ng ating so, kailangan ina-communicate din po siya para maliwanag po sa kanila kung ano po yung goal ng isang institution. Constancy and reliability. Strategic leaders constantly convey their vision until it becomes a component of organizational culture. Ayan. Thank you po. Thank you po.